going on? It's your boy Buddha back in the building for another last Cloudia video, one that I think I've been ready to make for a little bit now, and finally ready to bring Maja into the spotlight and show his capabilities at 4-star, level 100, 108 out of 108 board unlocked. As you can see, he is in front of us in all of his creepy old glory. The spinning top dreidel man is here, and listen, Maja, I have been going very back and forth with my thoughts on him. My opinions change depending on how I'm thinking about Maja, right? As an end game player, right, from a completely personal standpoint, Maja is definitely a character that I am not enamored with because he takes so long to actually dish out any damage, right? He's a mage, he's a DPS mage meant to deal some damage on whichever elements are weak because he is a rainbow mage with some emphasis on light magic. But it takes so long because of his skill, ultimate casting, that caps his casting speed. Typically you want to max out or at least get a casting speed of 70% on your mage so that they're instantly throwing spells. For Maja, they intentionally limited the max amount of cap speed so that you couldn't just spam his OP ridiculous damage. So from that standpoint, because I like my fast things, I'm not enamored with him, and he's not dealing out any damage that I personally can't do with other physical characters. However, with that being said, if I take a step back and think about Maja from a new player's perspective, he's going to be insane, right? Because as you just unlock his board without even teaching him a lot of spells, he's going to be covering all of the elements except dark that you pretty much need. He's going to have incredible multipliers built in his kit, and he has very, very good sustain built in him with the one skill convergence. So all of those things combined, right, he's going to be looking incredible in the hands of a new player who doesn't have everything at their disposal like a player in my position. With a lot of limited things, a lot of great equipment, all ready to go on my physical DPS. I know how I want them built, and I can make them perform at the level which I expect and I prefer. However, for Maja, he's not what I prefer personally, but I can appreciate what he is and what he brings to the table. So we're going to show off exactly that. Of course, you guys know I like to do these 4-star showcases rather than 5-star first, because I think a lot of the newer players are going to be hovering around this potential of Maja in the beginning or in their early to mid game experience. Even if you are able to get him enhanced to that 5-star position, the materials you're going to need for those 5-star nodes that you get on the outer rim of this circle, those are not going to be accessible to you anytime soon. And with that being said, you know the basis of this showcase. Go ahead and take a look at all of his stats here, his weaknesses, all the above. This is what his base kit offers you with nothing else added. I have no equipment on him. So at 4 stars, 4th awakened, 108 out of 108, all of his innate skills active, you're sitting at some very, very comfortable stats. Some differences between Maja at 4-star versus 5-star. Of course, they're nothing too crazy, but in his trait 1, I can point out all attribute magic attack damage plus 30%. This will jump up to, I believe, 40% at 5th star. Damage cap plus 4,000 should be 5,000. And then robe equipped magic attack damage cap plus 4,000 will go up to 5,000 as well. So he will get an extra 2,000 damage cap and 10% extra magic damage with his 5-star enhancing. Divine Works I don't think changes at all. This is the barrier equal to 100% of the unit's max HP. When that buff ends or when that barrier gets depleted, he gets that 50% extra magic damage and special damage, and then damage cap plus 10,000. And if I remember correctly, that's what we saw in his video showcase, which it would be the final trait, even at the 5th enhancement. So nothing too crazy. I don't think he is missing any skills. After you unlock his 5th enhancement board, you'll be able to upgrade that first trait, and then he'll get extra stat nodes as well. Of course, I will see what that looks like when we jump into his 5-star, but we're focused on the 4-star Maja. I'm going to jump into some battles, and we're going to do these showcases a little differently and see what Maja's bringing to the table. Okay, so we're going to be doing these showcases for characters a little differently. Rather than trying to create and edit and process a 40, usually 30 to 40 minute video with these character showcases. I know some of you guys prefer that, but just for the sake of editing my sanity and video output, I kind of want to do separate videos for these characters in different parts of the game. So for this video, we're going to be focusing on Maja in general story and how I would just be running him in your average wave by wave multi-enemy story maps. So first we're going to take on, of course, the stage Encroaching Dead on hard mode. Bounty Killer, thanks for the subscription, my friend. As you guys know, I run this stage all the time just to get a good feel for the unit running solo, what their capabilities are, and I have a feeling that Maja is going to blow this test out of the water. So let's get into how I have Maja built. You can see I do have 81 out of 82 SC. We did get a couple of prisms available to Maja in order to push him past his usual SC limit. But let's take a look at his skills. I have everything innate in his kit equipped, which includes all of these magic skills, his Charisma, God Heal, High Resurrection. And then he's got a ton of these, what we used to call time stop, but now the boys and I have decided to call it non-stackable. Whenever you see this symbol, just think non-stackable magic. It means that any 2 spells with this symbol, they cannot be happening at the same time. They are turn-based, basically. So these are non-stackable spells. That's pretty much Maja's whole gimmick. He comes with all the elements, all the elemental spells except dark. So you can see I did give him Venomous Rainfall. I could give him a couple more powerful dark magic spells, but this is what I had taught to him for the purposes of the showcase. I just kind of wanted to show how I would build Maja to cover all elements and treat him as a true rainbow mage. After that, I gave him a couple HP ups, all the MP ups I have taught to him currently, and just a ton of magic ups. I'm going to tell you right now, I had a ton of SC saved up even after I got kind of the essential skills that I wanted in him. That's partly why we have some dark magic on him, just so I could use up that SC. Critical up 2 and critical up 3 are only going to come into use for light magic because he has the light critical Neo spell built into him. None of the other elemental spells that we have on him currently will be able to deal any critical damage. He comes with Human Geyser, which makes him effective against humans with his magic attack. Very, very great skill to see. They're introducing a ton of these geysers, which are the Slayer equivalents for magic attackers. Now, if we were fighting any humans in this current battle, I would have Special Boost in order to get that plus 50% on top of the 50% magic damage, but we're not, so I decided to save the extra 6 SC. Comes with Mimicry Sorcerer, which makes him a sorcerer and a god type. If you're in arena, take note and probably take this off of Maja, just so he doesn't have 2 typings that can be covered by Slayers. Comes with Auto Aura, Auto Advanced Circles, Auto Recast. Did give him Light Boost manually, Light High Boost he comes with, and then there's that Light Critical Neo, which gives him Light Attack, Magic's chance to crit, and a damage cap of plus 2000. Comes with Light Attack Raise 2. Here I gave him Dark Boost and Dark High Boost, just in case we want to use that Venomous Rainfall. Pose of Honor, very important, especially for multi-wave stages, multi-enemies, because Maja's going to be burning through a ton of MP. We're going to see why as we continue down. Archangel's Blessing, very, very great skill for multi-wave battles. Goddess Kiss I gave him just in case we need it. I don't have him really built to regenerate MP based on his normal attacks, so this is going to be very negligible, but again, I had the extra SC, and so I slapped it on him because this is a skill I have taught to him currently. Backstab does proc on magic damage. If Maja basically casts a spell and he is considered behind an enemy, you can get the backstab damage, which is going to come into use the more enemies that are on the field run around, do whatever they want. A movable object, high level magic chant, you know, this casting speed, he comes with an innate 50 casting speed, which then gets halved due to this ultimate casting. So innately, Maja comes with plus 25% casting speed, think. And then let me read off this ultimate casting. Non-stacking magic attack damage plus 200%. So any of those time stop or non-stacking magic spells are getting this insane boost from this skill. Damage cap plus 40,000. Enemy mind minus 25% deal damage. Non-stacking magic uses MP plus 150%. Okay, that's important to remember. And casting speed boosts are halved. Casting speed cap 40%. So that's why, even though with high level magic chant and then auto recast would technically be a plus 50%, ultimate casting makes it a plus 25%. So that means we have 15% to cover in order to get to that 40% max casting speed that Maja has available to him. Comes with staff boost, comes with staff mega boost. I could put staff high boost on him if I had it taught to him, but I don't currently. Robe boost, when robe is equipped, plus 7% mind and plus 5% magical attack. Spell linkage, magic attack damage plus 4% for each repeat of an attack magic. This is a very, very good skill for magic users because it's only 5 SC. And if you know you're running a stage where you're going to be casting a specific spell multiple times back to back, you can get up to plus 20% damage if you're struggling to hit cap. So very, very good spell. Robe high boost he comes with. Magic aura I did give him just for that. He will be using 50% more MP, but he gets a plus 75% to his magic damage, which he's just getting magic damage multipliers up the wazoo. And then Convergence is an extremely potent ability and helps Maja a lot when taking lethal damage from an enemy. Spend 2% of the damage as MP and survive with 1 HP. So if you can keep MP on Maja, he is essentially invincible. Now this can get drained very quickly if you don't have proper means of MP regeneration, which is hard to come by in itself. But you will see the potency of this effect a lot of times, especially if you just stack a bunch of MP ups, right? Try and get all the MP ups that you can on him. As soon as I get more MP ups taught to Maja, I'll probably take away Magic Up 4. Just because the int stat percentage is not super relevant, since Maja basically just needs a bunch of magic damage multipliers and he's good to go. Now let's take a look at what I have equipped to him. I tried to keep it pretty free-to-play friendly, or at least budget player friendly, right? Things that you will need to have certain arcs for, but we're not talking any limited arcs or URs, things like that. We do have Heaven's Cry as the staff, which is the Arc Ether reward from the Lugmechia SSR arc. Magical critical damage plus 30%. This will come into use when we use any of his light spells. On top of that, it just gives a big old fat 250 to the instat and 50 extra MP, which is great. Robe of Zuluin is actually a pretty solid robe if you don't have any of the stellar robes. It just gives no trait, but it does give some nice stat sticks, and it is a robe, which is what you're going to be wanting to wear with Maja. Cultist Pendant, extremely important. Arc Ether reward from the SR Arc. Shrine of Heresy, I think it's called. When using dark magic, damage plus 15%, that's not relevant here, but attack magic casting speed plus 30%, and if you remember, Maja starts with a base of plus 25%, half of 30 is plus 15%, so this is almost a must run on Maja so that you can close that gap from 25 plus 15 equals 40. With this AER alone, Maja reaches that plus 40% casting speed. Very important because you'll see the speed at which Maja casts. It's extremely slow. Nightmare Hat's also just a solid equip. It does use some more MP. So Maja's going to be using a ton of MP, especially with Nightmare Hat and Magic Aura, where you end ultimate casting uses plus 150% MP. Magic Aura uses plus 50% more MP, and then Nightmare Hat I think uses plus 25% more MP if I'm not mistaken. So that's a lot of MP we're going to be draining per spell. But the thing is, with Pose of Honor, I think we're going to be one-tapping these stages and then gaining all that MP back with those kills. So this is basically a budget build for Maja to just nuke. And then let me not forget, one of the most important things I want to address, I think Bell Tower of Guidance is going to be one of the go-to arcs for any player to run on Maja, simply because of the last sentence. So let's read the whole thing though. Periodically give a buff for 80% magical damage from enemies. I think that means you get a 20% damage cut from magic damage that enemies are casting. Upper limit to total damage received rises with level. Don't really know what that means. When close to death, mind plus 50% and no fainting from enemy attacks. So even though this says no fainting from enemy attacks, this will keep Maja from getting fainted when his barrier buff expires or gets depleted. So instead of needing to use skills like concentration or having limited AERs like Stonebird, you can just throw this arc on Maja and take advantage of his second trait. If an enemy bursts down your shield, you then immediately get that 50% magic damage bonus and plus 10,000 magic damage cap without ever being fainted. So this arc is going to be incredibly important for most players, since I think this is what the majority of players will have accessible to them. With all that being said, let's go ahead and see what we can do with Maja. Now, we're not going to be using him as a Rainbow Mage in this stage because if I'm not mistaken, all of the enemies are weak to light. So basically my plan is to come in here and cast Starverse to literally be a time bomb for each wave. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a good time. And we'll go ahead and see what the deal is with Maja. So let's see here. Actually, I do want to just test. So after I cast Starverse, let's just go ahead. Oh, I can't actually see it. Well, boom, we have that set. And you're weak to light. You're actually resistant to light. You're weak to light. You're neutral. And you're weak to light. So this should be a good time. I'm literally just going to stand there and run around with our little dreidel. And these guys are just going to get clapped very quickly, as you can see. We're not actually dealing damage cap, which kind of surprises me. But I'll be very interested to see what the final wave has in store for us. So this is why Maj is going to look crazy for a lot of new players, because with a very limited build that's not even too crazy, doesn't bring out Maj's max potential, he's able to walk through. This is the hard mode, if I'm not mistaken. And especially if we get our barrier taken down by one of these enemies, the damage is going to fly up significantly. We can see he's got a current light damage cap of 64,099. Not too shabby. I think he's attacking. He's dealing damage to those weak monsters with that type of damage output. So here you can check his MP gauge. So this Starverse does cost 146 MP, which is just quite crazy. But you watch when you see we kill all these mobs, and we're gonna like go all the way back up. Boom, to 690 right there. So yeah, 30. Who knew? 30 hits of a damage cap ranging from 30 to 60,000. You're dealing a sizable amount of damage. What I'm really interested to see is his final wave clear on this stage. The enemies we're about to fight are very physical resistant, but I believe they're pretty susceptible to magic damage. And with that being said, I'm thinking Maj is going to have literally the easiest time with this stage right here. I mean, what is the max? Yeah, I'm going to spoil this right now. He's literally going to clap these enemies. And hopefully the enemies will actually break our barrier, which will activate our second trait. And then we'll see just pure destruction without ever even being fainted. And the thing with Maj is as long as you get this spell off, like, here we go. You guys have to take down his barrier. Come on. Come on. I think the barrier's gone. And we see just a ridiculous amount of damage output and literally a one tap. I was fighting the hard stage, right? So Maja, there's no denying he is the power creep of mages right now. Yes, we were definitely fighting the hard difficulty of that stage. So very impressive. I can't lie. Granted, we were taking on a stage that Maja, you know, if I would have had his Maja's staff or Maja's wand from the Ark Great Maja Temple, we could have had an extra plus 30% light magic damage on top of him, which would have made him look even crazier. Sadly, I did not. I just haven't Arc Ether grinded that weapon out yet, which I really should do for Maja, especially when you can bring Maja in as a light mage. It's just a ridiculous scenario. Oh, and now I think for the battle that I'm going to wrap up this showcase with, we're going to take Maja into the final God stage that we actually have currently accessible to us, 2-3 Seaside Rain Clouds and Gragia Mountains. So with God stages, I think it's a pretty good place to showcase some of Maja's potential, because with God stages, the enemies themselves aren't particularly difficult in the sense of damage output or being a threat that you haven't seen before in prior enemies. The thing with the God stages is that these enemies have a ton of HP. They're just HP pools, so it makes clearing these stages kind of annoying just because of the amount of damage that you need to dish out to clear these stages. So with this wave in particular, it is a multi-wave stage, and the enemies are going to be changing their resistances, right? So some of the enemies are going to be weak to a certain element, while the others are going to be weak to a different one. So I think this will be a good time to showcase Maja's Rainbow Mage potential. Exact same build as last time, right? We have this Ark on him, Bell Tower, to avoid that fainting completely, and I haven't changed anything from the prior build that you just saw. So let's just jump into the match and see what we can do with Maja as a Rainbow Mage. Now, we know a couple things, right? We don't get any crits on any spells except Light, but I don't think it's going to matter at all. So we can see, we're checking elements, we can see this bird is weak to Thunder, this guy's weak to Thunder, and the other bird is the same, so he's also weak to Thunder. So Thunder is the strong element here. Well, guess what? We've got X Radius, so we can cast that, wait our long old waiting time, but once it gets off, I think we're going to start absolutely decimating these guys. So again, remember, these are God stage enemies. The fact that we can 2-tap these things with spells like this is absolutely incredible. The MP cost is big, but we got a ton back from Pose of Honor. And then also remember, we have Archangel's Blessing. So in these multi-wave content, we get that recharge at wave start. So we have a bunch of these birds again. So we know everything here is weak to Thunder, and the Gobble here is neutral to Thunder. So I think sticking with X Radia right now is a good play, so that we can just kill the majority of enemies off. And we know that Gobble's neutral to X Radius, so we're still going to deal some nice damage because of that. Let's queue up another spell immediately, since we know it's going to take 2. And because we're queuing it up now, while this first X Radia is going up, we can actually have the second X Radia launch off immediately after this one is done. That's actually a very important thing to mention with Maja, is that you don't actually have to wait the full 8 seconds casting time. You saw there, as soon as that first spell ended, we got the second one off immediately, because Maja already went through his casting time while the end of that first spell was playing off. So if you can chain spells with Maja, you can then just cast back to back to back. I think we're in the same situation here. Look, the Ant is also neutral to Thunder, so we're going to go ahead and launch some Thunder attacks. Or you know what? Just to switch it up, why don't we just launch Absolute Zero, because we have that. I think the other birds and stuff, they're neutral to Ice. Yeah, everything here is neutral to Ice. Oh, except for you. The Snowpockle ruined it, so we're going to stick with X Radia. So we get this first one off, boom, and I'm going to immediately cast that second one so that we're already queued up for it. And boom, you see he launches it right there. At this point, I know they're all going to die, so I can just sit back and watch the destruction. So I don't even need to finish this stage to tell you that in multi-wave general content, he's going to look like an absolute god, especially for your new players. All right, finally we get to switch up the element we're going to be using. We can pick between Earth and Ice. What are you weak to, my friend? You're weak to Ice, and everyone else is weak to Ice. So we're going with Absolute Zero as our spell to cast in this wave in particular. We're going to queue up another one just so that it's ready to go. I imagine it'll take 2 different procs to kill everything, but absolutely incredible damage. And then the Hobgobble, we know, will go down. Just cast some skills, because why not? Because we can, while the destructive nuclear spells are going off in the background. You know, that's very satisfying. I can't lie. That's a very big selling point for a lot of characters, is how well the character does in these god stages. And it looks like X Radia is going to be the final spell that we want to use against this big old guy right here. I'll just keep queuing him up. He's got 3.5 million health, so we're actually going to see if we can take this guy out, because this might be a good example of us running out of MP before we can dish out enough damage, which is where Maja starts falling short. As you can see, we are probably going to get him below half, but I can only cast one more X-Radia after this, which is definitely not going to be enough to finish this guy off. We got close, which is impressive. I'd have to rely on Goddess Kiss procs in order to get some MP regen back, which we're just not getting lucky with, and it's even less beneficial with Goddess Kiss because we only have one staff equipped. You know what actually would have been helpful? If we could have gotten hit, see, like with that damage there, if that breaks our barrier, which it is, we're actually in a kind of a tight spot right now. I'm going to use Bodhisattva's Palm just so you can see the special. This actually deals quite a nice amount of damage, and I think it will come into use. Well, it's not dealing anything crazy. It's not dealing anything crazy. If we can wait it out, we actually do have God Heal. We do have God Heal, which would help us a lot. I'm going to do Bishop's Charisma, right? Just because we're in a little bit of a sticky situation, I want to keep that guy away from me so I can let auto advance circles just recharge MP while this guy's just coming after me. Oh my gosh. We barely got out of that one. We've got 127. I just need one more auto advance magic circles to go off. Oh no. No. I need one more. I lied. I need one more. 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 Oh my gosh. See, the problem is when he hits me, he's going to drain some MP because I'm sitting at that 1 health mark. So whenever he wants, come on, baby. I just need to get... I'm getting so unlucky right now. I'm getting so unlucky right now. Let's see if we can get some Goddess Kiss procs. Okay, we got the last one. So what we're going to see here is actually Maja with that 50% magic damage bonus, which I think will propel us to dealing some caps. We died. Oh my god. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to continue because there are free continues right now. So let that be a PSA if you are struggling. Look at that. I'm such a big proponent of not ever doing this, but I'm going to do it just for the showcase purposes because that was just the biggest fail ever. We've got Maja's buff because I want to see it and I don't feel like going through that whole stage over again. So you can go ahead and go F yourself, bro. Yeah, we definitely dealt some more damage to him with that spell, but nothing too insane. I actually think maybe he got his shield back, but I don't really know. I guess I should have checked his stats. Oh, always a buzzkill when you just get those unexpected fails, but kind of shows where Maja's weaknesses lie, and there definitely needs to be a strategy to work around said weaknesses depending on whatever situation you're in. We saw that, like, in wave content, where you can regen MP off of other enemy kills and off of Archangel's Blessing, Maja's fine, because one magic spell, even though it costs a ridiculous amount of MP, clears the whole field, and even if you need to cast 2 or 3. But when you get in a position where you've got to take down a ton of health, then you're dealing with another beast. What I will do when we 5-star Maja is show one of the most ridiculous broken things, but this is only a 4-star PvE wave general DPS content video, so we're not going to get into all that. I'm going to go ahead and close out the video there. Look out for some other videos I'm going to be releasing, like Maja against world bosses, which will be the video that I can hopefully show how to work around some of Maja's weaknesses in the department of fighting one boss over a long period of time. But until then, guys, I think that's all I got for you this time. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you're using the old god Maja in your general content right now, if he's just obliterating everything and you're wondering why more people don't praise this dude. Turn on all notifications if you want to make sure and know exactly when I post a video. You won't be out of the loop in case of emergency situations. And let me know in the comments what you think about our grandpa Maja finally in the game, looking crazy. definitely a cool character. Again, just his slow pace isn't my cup of tea, but I can't deny the man's got ridiculous potential and is going to serve a lot of players very well in their early to mid game and even in some late game ventures. With all that being said, guys, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next video.